Hello there, Alaskans, wherever you are. Welcome to the Must Read Alaska Show. Coming to you from somewhere in Alaska. This is the place where we talk about, you guessed it, Alaska. Where we keep the mainstream media on their toes and where we are standing up for what's right in a world run by leftists. You can find out more by heading over to mustreadalaska.com and also checking out the Must Read Alaska YouTube channel for some really great content. But first, let's get this party started.
Well, welcome everybody to the Must Read Alaska show, coming to you from somewhere in Alaska. And it's a beautiful August day here. We've had a deluge over the past few days, but the rain has dissipated and we're going to have a beautiful sunny day, high in the mid 70s or 60s here in Anchorage and probably 70s up in interior Alaska. Very excited today to have a special show for us with somebody from Project Veritas. Project Veritas has been on the ground in Alaska working on a really interesting project to show and expose the link between Senator Lisa Murkowski and this newfangled, what some people call newfangled voting system that is known as ranked choice voting. It's what was created through ballot measure 2 in 2020. And this year is the first year we'll be using it in Alaska, where we have a jungle primary and we have a ranked choice voting general election. A lot of confusion. We've been running a series on it saying, Ask Bernadette with Bernadette Wilson at Americans for Prosperity to help explain the intricacies and the difficulties of this system and help sort out with people how to vote a ranked choice ballot, how to either think through how it works and whether or not there's a strategy. But in the meantime, Project Veritas has been in the state. And so they have been working on a project that really has a major impact and has had a lot of excitement. For the past few hours, I have probably received 40 or 50 links to their latest project. And there's a story up on Must Read Alaska about this right now. It's about the Project Veritas exposing the link between Senator Lisa Murkowski and this new ballot system that makes it more likely that she can get reelected. Today with us, we have Mario Balaban from the Project Veritas, and he is in New York. And Mario, I'd like to welcome you to the show. Did I butcher your name yet?
No, that's perfectly said. Thank you for having me on. And, we are excited as well to having a story in Alaska that's exciting for us too. So we're happy to, expose corruption and malfeasance in Alaska as well.
And so, Mario, Project Veritas is pretty well known up here. And I tell you, people last night, when they heard that you guys were in the state, they were beside themselves. They were so excited and they wanted me to get you on the show. So I appreciate you coming on. Have you ever had a project up here in Alaska before?
Well, I've been at Project Veritas now for about 3 years. Not to my knowledge, no stories we've broken specifically in Alaska. And just to make a quick distinction, there's Project Veritas and Project Veritas Action. This story was broken by Project Veritas Action, our 501c4 organization that investigates campaigns and elections. That's the focus of that entity of our organization. But to answer your question, no, this is, to my knowledge, the first time that we've investigated and exposed things going on in Alaska.
I guess you've had maybe one or two people here on the ground here in Alaska. Have you, without exposing your trade secrets, because you guys operate in a certain way, you've obviously been tracking Senator Murkowski a bit because you certainly knew how to find her yesterday. And nobody knows how you knew that, because I even left that event before she showed up because I didn't know she was going to be there. But you did. You guys did. And so what are the kinds of things that you do? This is, for those who are just joining us and who don't know about Project Veritas, explain your type of journalism. It's really edgy. It's really, it's very confrontational. It's very investigative. And what I would describe it as is you put the tape down and you let people tell the truth when they don't know they're telling the truth. So why don't you describe it?
Yeah, absolutely. So Project Veritas, like you said, is an investigative journalism organization specializing in undercover journalism. So we do undercover videos. It is basically entirely video journalism. We'd like to say that we want to see people's lips moving when they talk. You can see them talking. Again, it's not our opinions. Project Veritas doesn't have opinions about our videos because we're not the ones talking. The people that are talking are the people that we recorded saying the things that they're doing, not what we think they're doing. We also have whistleblowers and insiders that come to us when they see corruption in their workplace. So we have those two different types, but it's very, a very unique kind of journalism. And unfortunately, a lot of the media doesn't do that nowadays anymore.
Correct. Well, why don't you give the URL so that people can go and learn more about you as well? And we'll do that at the end of the show as well. So it's projectveritas.org, or what is it?
So you have projectveritas.action.com is where you'll be able to find this video in Alaska. And then for projectveritas.com is our 501c3, which is our other organization. But for this specific story in Alaska, you'll find it on projectveritas.action.com.
Okay, great. And I know that Project Veritas has been controversial and you've been kicked off some of the big tech platforms because of the kind of work you do, but you do have a video up on YouTube right now as well. So they haven't quite kicked you off, right? You're also, I suppose, on Rumble and some of the other ones?
We were banned on Twitter, both James O'Keefe and Project Veritas Action, all three were banned from Twitter. Currently, Instagram doesn't allow James O'Keefe and Project Veritas to be tagged. We were not banned, but we can't be tagged. And other platforms we're still on, like YouTube and Facebook. But of course, here and there, you can definitely feel like there's some sort of shadow banning type of treatment, censorship there. But in the out-facing situation in there, it does appear that we haven't been taken off. We can still post things there and get things that people to see our things on those platforms.
All right. So to the event that you had up here in Alaska, let's describe it for the listeners and the viewers today. What is it that you wanted to accomplish in this project?
So Project Veritas, we investigate anybody, and it doesn't matter what political party you're in, what state you're in. For us, it's really if you're doing something wrong, and the constituents, the voters, or the public as a whole have a right to know that, and it helps inform their decisions for their own lives and the future of the country. That's what we believe in, is that people try to hide information from the public that usually is not good if they're trying to hide it, right? People in power, when they do that, means that they have something, nefarious going on. And we believe that people should have the right to see these things. And that's why we engage in the undercover tactics, right? Because we believe that if you just go up to someone and put a microphone in their face and say, hey, please tell me all the corruption you're committing, they're probably not going to tell you what they're doing. But if you go and you meet them and they don't know that you're recording and you ask them some questions and they start spilling the beans because they think that no one's going to find out, that's when you really get the honest truth out of those people that millions and millions of people will end up seeing and, making a better decision for, what should take place from there. Again, we don't advocate for any specific policies. We don't advocate for anything like that. We just believe that the people should have the information so they can make the decision for themselves.
So here in Alaska, you did this project on Lisa Murkowski's link to Ballot Measure 2, which is the new scheme that changed our voting system up here to jungle primaries and ranked choice voting. And what gave you the idea of actually investigating this particular link?
Yeah, no, I can't get into too much detail as to on that, but I can say that we were interested in exposing both Republicans and Democrats this year, and we will continue to do that through the election season. What we did find interesting is, Lisa Murkowski does have a track record again to flip-flop on policies and have different views on certain things depending on what's convenient and not having certain positions held and principles held. So in my view, and some people's view, it really appears that someone that doesn't have certain principles of how they guide themselves, they usually might have something to hide from the public. So that was really something that nudged me to understand a little bit, hey, maybe there's something there that could be interesting investigating. Again, if we investigated Senator Murkowski and there was nothing there, it's just how it works in journalism, right? You investigate an idea or a lead, and if there's nothing there, there's nothing there. But clearly there was something there. And I personally wasn't too familiar with Ballot Measure 2 until recently. And then we really understood how significant it was in Alaska, and just the alleged there, again, these are the Murkowski staffers' words, not mine, just the alleged conflict of interest, really, between people who worked on Ballot Measure 2 and people that work in the campaign, and the ties, the different people's names, what they did there, why they want to keep it hush-hush, don't tell anybody, like that kind of language was used frequently by more than one person. They're all paid employees in the campaign. It was really something to see. So that's what, alerted me to understand how important Ballot Measure 2 and ranked voting is for Murkowski. And again, this also occurs in Maine. This also occurs in New York City, this ranked voting system, and other places are pushing it. So this might have national implications, with Alaska being, the centerpiece of this at the moment.
So what you discovered, and it's a 5-minute video, and for those who haven't seen it, they can go to mustreadalaska.com. There's a story up right now about this video, about this investigative journalist project, and there is a link inside that story to the video. We'll also post the video later today here on Must Read Alaska on our Facebook page. But for those of you who are listening on Pandora or Spotify, you just go to our site, mustreadalaska.com, and you'll find the YouTube video that you can play right there. The people that your organization talked to, your undercover journalists talked to, include people directly in her campaign saying things like, well, just between you and me, we were all involved in it, or people on this campaign were involved in creating ballot measure 2, but we don't like to really link Lisa Murkowski to that. We kind of keep that quiet. And you heard a lot of that sort of language. It's only a 5-minute video. I mean, do you have outtakes? Is there anything more that you guys are going to drop on this?
Well, I can't say that there's more video coming out. I can't say what it is, but there is. This wasn't the only video out of Alaska we're putting out. I can say that much for now.
Oh, very interesting. So do you think you have another project, or is this the same project with, you can't say?
It is still Murkowski related, but I can't say much more than this.
Okay, so Project Veritas has been in Alaska working on, who is the real Murkowski, who's the real force behind ballot measure 2, which we're all experiencing for the first time this year. And at this point, you've dropped about 5 minutes of video of people recording campaign staffers who are describing pretty openly that the links between the Murkowski campaign and ballot measure 2 are unmistakable. I mean, a person can watch this video and say there just is no doubt. Now, you weren't quite able to nail down that Lisa Murkowski herself was behind ballot measure 2 or had a hand in it. That didn't quite come out.
So what we did get from both those paid employees was they both said that Lisa wasn't in favor of it, but kept quiet, and that was probably better that she kept quiet. Again, of course, we don't have Lisa Murkowski, the Senator Murkowski, on camera saying those things, but we do have both of her paid. One of them, I believe, has been with Murkowski for years, saying that she knew she operated. They use the word, we'll have talks behind closed doors, behind the scenes. These are both words used by both of these paid employees. And Shay Siegert, who was a comms director for Murkowski, was also the comms director for ballot measure 2, by the way. Yeah. He's briefly featured saying that, oh yes, ballot measure 2 helps coalition-style candidates, and Lisa Murkowski is a coalition-style candidate.
Right, I saw that, yeah.
So, he is a comms director who was involved in both projects, the campaign and the measure, and said that. So, and there's also, I believe, Calander and Associates was directly tied with the campaign, and they were directly tied with putting the measure forward. So the amount of people, it would be already somewhat shocking if it was, a couple here and there that were involved, but it seems like there's a massive, massive number of people who worked or currently work in the Murkowski campaign that worked on the ballot measure 2 as well.
Right. And so you mentioned Rachel Calander, and she is a very close associate, one of Lisa Murkowski's very best friends. And Lisa has steered a lot of contracts to her to develop different kinds of symposium in and around Arctic issues. So Rachel's been very successful in Alaska, a young up-and-coming Politico, as well as she just purchased the Cordova Times, one of the newspapers along the coastline here in Alaska. So she is now going to actually be an owner in the media. So have a voice there for, the fishing communities that surround Prince William Sound and South.
Hopefully they'll cover this story too.
Yeah, probably not so much. I don't think so. But so is there any doubt in your mind at this point that this is a form of election interference?
So I can't say what the end goal is there. I can just say from what I saw, the quotes that these people said, it looks like there's conflict of interest at the very minimum. And if they're saying that this was done with Lisa Murkowski in mind, and we're walking a fine line to get her elected, and a lot of people worked on it because they wanted a better system, but they wanted Lisa reelected. These are all quotes that I just said. So if this is coming from more than one person who was paid in the campaign and they're repeatedly hitting the same drum, I don't know. I haven't heard the Murkowski campaign deny it. I haven't seen a statement from them saying that they don't that's not true. So I'm waiting to see how they going to be speaking to these paid staffers. Are they going to say, why those paid employees were making those statements if they're not true? We would like to know what sort of action or what kind of response the Murkowski campaign will have now that the video is public.
Right. Well, these are always very interesting dynamics. As for Must Read Alaska, we do a lot of stories where we just basically tell what we discovered, and we don't necessarily go to the powers that be and ask them for their statement on it, because we already know they either won't speak to us, or B, they're just going to provide us with some sort of canned statement that has nothing to do with the truth, and we're not interested in that, so we just don't even bother. So what you're doing is you're laying out the facts here. These are the facts, people, inside the campaign, inside the Murkowski campaign, actual staffers saying, yes, many of us associated with the Murkowski camp were part of ballot measure 2, and we had her in mind. And now we're running her campaign because this is a system actually that really benefits her. So it makes it much more possible in the general election that she may be reelected for another 6-year term. So we want to thank you for coming on to our Must Read Alaska show. Is there anything that else that you'd like to tell Alaskans, conservative Alaskans, or all Alaskans?
Yeah, my message to all Alaskans, I think this is a story. I appreciate that you bring up the political preferences here, because I think this is a story that should really, bring into question, the voting system, not necessarily the voting system, but what the objectives are in Alaska politics across the board, regardless of what your politics are. If you are a Democrat or Republican or moderate independent, do you really want a politician to apparently make policies behind the scenes, according to these employees, behind the scenes, have one public statement about it here, but privately believe something else, and apparently change the voting system more so to benefit themselves rather than benefit the people of Alaska? Is that something that anybody, regardless of political affiliation, wants for their state? Is my question. And if you don't want that, what I would say is share the video. Share the video. Make sure that people see this. As many people as you possibly can make them see. Don't let people bury this video and hide the truth, because nothing is more. People that get exposed by Project Veritas Action, usually their first action is to try to ignore it and pretend that it's not about them and they have nothing to do with this, and don't pay attention to this. And the way to not let that happen is for the people of Alaska, or the people of the American people, to go and share this video far and wide as possible, so everyone sees it.
Well, very good. So you've done a lot of good work over at Project Veritas. You guys like to get in trouble. You guys like to mix it up, and you're very brave. You're bold. You're confrontational. It's an interesting project. You've got a lot more courage than many people that I know. But I want to thank you, Mario Balaban, who is media manager for Project Veritas, for coming on the Must Read Alaska show, talking to Alaskans about this great project that you've had up here in Alaska. I know a lot of people are so excited to know that you've been here, that we haven't been forgotten about our race up here with Lisa Murkowski running the hardest race of her life, probably, against Kelly Tshibaka, very serious-minded, very strong Republican challenger for her. So thank you again for joining us, and thank you everybody for being on with us here on the Must Read Alaska show. Until next time, I'm signing off from somewhere in Alaska, and Mario, you're signing off from somewhere in New York City. Thanks again.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Thank you.